Hello guys, welcome to i-tutor Academy. In this session, we are discussing Unit 2, MMPC Unit 2, Section 2. In last video, we discussed MMPC Unit 2, Management and its Evolution, Perspective Part 1, and about its theory parts we discussed. In theory part, we already discussed the contributions of scientific management and Taylor's experiment, etc. we discussed. So please go through the first part of unit 2. It's the second part of unit 2, and today we will start with administrative theory. In administrative theory, the French industrialist Henri Fayol was a major contributor to the administrative theory. So Henry Hall is the main contributor to this administrative theory. The other contributors are Mary Parker Falloch, Lintel Urwick Terry, and Peter Drucker and Harold Kunz. पहले वीडियो में मैंने ऑलरेडी बोला है ये ऑथर्स का प्रोनाउंसिएशन आपको कैसे स्पेलिंग लिख सकते हो वो हिसाब से प्रोनाउंस कर लेना, ठीक है. एंड it's known as the functional or process approach. The administrative theory also known as the functional or process approach. Functional and process approach. Okay, the administrative theory describes the efforts to define universal functions that managers perform and the principles that constitute good management practice. They emphasized management functions and attempted to generate broad administrative principles that serve as a framework or guidelines for the rationalization of organizational activities, including organizational structures and the relationship. They viewed the job as an antecedent to the worker. Fayol argues that organization function from the management point of view. He proposed that all managers perform 5 management functions of planning. We already discussed the management functions in Unit 1. In planning, organizing, commanding, coordinating and controlling. He also described the practice of management as distinct from accounting, finance, production, contribution and other business functions. His contribution also lies in his observation that management was an activity common to all human undertakings in business, government, in a charity organization and even at home. He also proposed the 14 principle. Okay, there is 14 principles of administration which he believed would be applied most often in organizational functioning. So the first principle is division of work, and second is authority and responsibility, and the third one discipline, fourth is unity of command, and fifth is unity of direction, and the sixth point is subordination of individual interest and general interest. It's a principle. And the seventh principle is remuneration of personnel, and 8 is centralization, and 9 one is scalar chain, and 10 is order. You just read this its elaborations of principle. And 11 one is equity, and 12 is stability of tenure, and 13 principle is initiative, and 14th the last principle is esperant de corpus. Esperant de corpus denotes team spirit. Okay, team spirit, and union is the strength. That's the principle. Okay, these 14 points are the principles for administrative theory. And the next is bureaucracy. While Taylor focused on the management of workers on the shop floor, and Fayol's focus was on the general management function in the organization. Closely related to these ideas, Max Weber, the German sociologist, Max Weber, it's a German sociologist, focused on developing a theory of bureaucratic management. Okay, and this theory proposed by Max Weber. And he looked at management and organizational behavior from structural perspective. Weber described an ideal type of organization that he called it a bureaucracy. It is characterized by division of labor, clearly defined hierarchy, detailed rules and regulations, and impersonal relationships. He recognized that this ideal bureaucracy does not exist in reality, but rather represented a selective reconstruction of the real world. He meant it to be taken as a basis for theorizing about work and how work could be done in large group. The feature of Weber ideal bureaucracy are, what are the features? One is job specialization, and second is hierarchy, third one is formal selection, and formal rule and regulation, impersonality, career orientation. These are the features of ideal bureaucracy. The classical approach thus provides a basis for training managers by identifying the function and skills of managers. Its focus is on the universality of management principles. It provides a mechanistic framework that overlooks the human factor in the organization and is based on concept of rational economic man. In addition, other thinkers who contribute to the classical management are Mary Parker Follett and Chester Irwin Bernard. And Mary Parker Follett argued that managers and workers should be considered as a group. It's a teamwork, it's a group work. Follett also proposed that law of situation, which makes a person accept the situation in which an individual is placed and try to work within those boundaries. She also reiterated the concept of coordination as a critical in the early stages of the organization to have a strong hold on the control process. On the other hand, Bernard, who published the function of the executive, by Bernard, focused on the integration of the individual and the organizational goals. He defined the organization to include three elements. One is corporation, and second one is purpose, and third one is communication. And the first point is corporation. And according to him, people have to willingly cooperate and work for a purpose using both the formal and informal channels in the organization. In his book, he proposed three functions of an executive. According to him, the executive must contribute and provide a system of communication so as to ensure performance according to their potential and contribution to the formulation of the purpose of the organization. Overall, the classical management theory proposed a framework and a principle of management which not only provide the guideline to an organization to function, but also served as the foundational for the modern management approach. Okay, and next one is human relation approach or behavioral approach. The evolution of management thought is considered a logical extension of the ideas and experiments that were carried out across organization and the experiment of management thinkers or consultants in management. The human relations approach was considered a radical approach considering their time because of their focus on psychological and sociological process that influence employee performance. The human relations school stressed on the utility of human relation practice like leadership, communication and motivation. According to them, the focus of management must be centered on interpersonal relations and managing, evolving, getting things done through people. For the first time, the people aspect of management was highlighted with a heavy orientation to psychology and social psychology with the stress on satisfying psychological needs and understanding the behavior of people. Classical theories have assumed man as an economic being driven by the fear of hunger and management, and workers do not demonstrate any conflict between them. This work structured and reward were used as focal point to suggest various principles and practices based on the number of experiments to improve productivity and effectiveness. For various reasons, the expected efficiency and productivity could not be achieved as expected. However, the application of scientific principle motivating the workers through reward stability of tenure, encouraging initiative and group harmony as advocated by the classical approach have laid solid foundation for recognizing the people element in organization. And Hathod studies, the most important contribution to human relation movement was beyond doubt the first inquiry and Hathorn studies undertaken at the Western Electrical Company at Hathorn in Cicero, close to Chicago in the Illinois state. It's originated in 1924 initially and eventually expanded to the 1930s by sets of consultants from Harvard. George Elton Mayo and his associates were invited to join the team of industrial engineers to examine the effect of illumination level on workers' productivity. Okay, these are the perspectives of management level. Okay, all these things we are discussing the perspective level and different approaches also. And Mayo was thus considered the father of human relation approach. So Mayo is the he is considered as father of human relation approach. Assumptions. The theory was based on the following assumptions. What are the assumptions? The first one is usefulness and the importance of the people, the recognition as individual and their belongingness to the group, the importance of esteem need than money to motivate people to work. And next is inform, listen to and make people feel that they can contribute to the organization. And next is exercise of self-control by individual in routine matters and encouraging the participation of people and sharing information with them. No resistance to change by the subordinate if the basic needs are met. What are the findings from these theories? The Hathorn studies have contributed significantly to the human relation theory. What are the contributions? One is social norms determine the level of production, not the psychological abilities of workers. The behavior of workers is significantly affected by non-economic reward sanctions, and money is not the motivator of the people. And the individuals act and react often as member of group. And the importance of leadership in setting and enforcing group norms. The working conditions do not influence productivity, rather than complex attitudes determine the productivity. Group pressure and no managerial demand exert a stronger influence on productivity. Rational economic man to be replaced by the concept of social man. The behavior of person and his sentiments are closely related, and people can exercise self-control. The focal point in human relation approach is the worker and not the job as the classical approach. The human relations theory has contributed to a new concept in the understanding of an organization and made a critical contribution to the understanding of people at work, people in groups and people in organization. The system approach. What is the system approach? And there is decision theory approach also and contingency approach also there, and mathematical approach is there, and that's all approaches are there for this chapter. Okay, we will discuss so fastly because it's chapter is a little bit lengthy and boring also, because it's full of theory and assumption and approach part. Okay, administrative theory, bureaucratic theory, and these are all our perspective part of management. This approach is, what is system approach? This approach is an extension of human relations approach and views management as an social system. It is influenced by sociologists. It aims at identifying various social groups with the fundamental beliefs in need to solve the biological, physical and social limitation through cooperation. Okay, this is system approach, and there is for example also they mentioned here. You just go through the unit 2 book also through this our classes. Okay, and the decision theory approach. What is the decision theory approach? This approach was proposed after the Second World War. Since managerial function revolve around right decision making, this approach adopts this as its central focus and studied the process of decision making, which includes selecting the right course of action from possible alternatives. And a mathematical and or quantitative approach. The mathematical approach provides a quantitative basis for decision making, considering management as system of mathematical model and process. Okay. And the next is contingency approach. In contingency approach emerges from the real life experiments of managers who found out that no single approach model or worked consistently in every situation. And this approach believes that managerial practices and styles differ in different situations and context. Okay, and theory X and theory Y. Dougal McGregor, an American social psychologist, proposed the theory X and theory Y in his book The Human Side of Enterprises in 1960. The theory is simple reminder of the natural rules for managing people, which are forgotten by managers easily in their pressure of day-to-day functioning. And next is this is the last one of theory X and theory Y is the last portion of our unit 2, and in this theory Y participate management style, and the assumption of theory X is assumption of managers under theory X are the average person dislike work and so he tries to avoid it. These are the assumptions, these all things are the assumptions of theory X, and also discussed theory Y also. Okay, assumptions of theory Y also. So you just go through this notes from unit 2 from IGNOU side part, they provide your basic books. Okay. The evolution of management thought evidenced the contribution of multiple perspectives from the classical approach, which provide the foundation of management. The neoclassical school, comprising of the perspective of sociologists, psychologists, and business managers, have contributed the knowledge and practice of management. The transformation process continued with the contribution to the theory and practice of management by the contemporary management thinkers and consultants across the world, thus making management an exciting field of study and inquiry for both the researchers and the managers. So it's all about the perspective part of management. Okay, it's the management theory is discussing in this unit 2, and you just go through self-assessment questions also. Okay, that's for today's session. Thank you so much.